Well, hello, this is Kimberly Brock, and for over 20 years, I've been running my own businesses that have not only been profitable, but personally fulfilling to me. So now I'm on a mission to help other new business owners just like you make money doing what you love too. Now we're going to have some fun, so let's get started. Well, hello, this is Kimberly. It's episode 244, and I am so glad that you are here today. Oh my goodness, you are in for a treat. I have a special guest on the show. Her name is Jennifer Noble. She is a relationship coach. She is one of my clients, one of my grow getters, and she was in my Binge-Worthy podcast boot camp. She is here to be real with you about what it's like to get your business going and the reality of what life can throw your way. She has a story to tell from someone who did not do well in high school at all to now having a TED Talk and everything else. I can't wait for you to listen because I think you are going to glean so much from her experiences and to see what is possible for you in this life. Don't ever doubt yourself. Anyone listening right now, whoever you are, listen to me. Do not doubt yourself. Jennifer is proof, and you're going to hear it here shortly. Before we get started, if you're new, welcome. I'm so glad that you found this podcast because you've come on an awesome day. Make sure you get plugged in. I've got some free resources for you. If you're starting your business, if you're trying to grow your business, I have all kinds of things for you that are free, including this podcast. So make sure you get plugged in. First of all, make sure you subscribe to this podcast. There's a follow button up in Apple Podcasts. You can click that little plus button. That way you'll just get notified when new episodes come down. And so you will get notified there in your app. And I don't want you to miss out on any of this valuable information that I'm sharing that will help you, I know, build a business doing what you love. Okay. So make sure you follow the podcast. And I've got a free Facebook group called Women Starting Businesses Doing What We Love. If you want to be part of a free community of others that are building their businesses too, make sure you click there. I've got free checklists for starting your business, all kinds of goodies. So make sure you look and see what you need and grab it right now because some of it may not be around forever. So check what's there, download it, print it, start working on it, use it because I want you to build this dream of yours. Okay. And if you've been listening a while, thank you so much to my loyal listeners. Y'all are wonderful and amazing and awesome. And I'm just so grateful for you for supporting this podcast and allowing me to do this. And I'm going to give a shout out to my grow getters who support my business, who I'm honored to be working with, who I get to help all the time as they are growing their businesses. So shout out to all of you. And let's give a shout out to Jennifer Noble because all my grow getters know who she is. You can't miss her joy and glowing nature and her positive energy and her authentic self. She's amazing. Y'all are going to hear it today. You're going to crack up. You're going to crack up. So you are going to be shocked and you're going to be inspired. Most importantly, you're going to be inspired. Okay. You can pursue anything. You can make anything happen. You can be anyone you want to be, and you just got to go for it. And she's proof. So anyways, okay, on to the episode. Well, Miss Jennifer, I am so excited you are here today on this podcast. I've been waiting for this episode for a long time since you joined in the group. And now I'm so happy you're here. I'm so excited for everyone to hear your story. And welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kimberly. I know I joined your podcast program, I think over a year ago.
Has it been that long?
Just now.
It's been a year.
Was it like May of 2023 or something?
That's probably right. Time has flown.
As it was just before I was getting married. So I wanted to kind of get it all in, but it still took me so long to start my podcast and it's taken me so long to even get my podcast up and running. So I've been wanting to hold off on this talk until then. But now I'm very excited because I feel like I'm finally grounded.
You're here. And now I'm laughing too because I'm sitting here thinking you just said you got married in the middle of all that. And I totally forgot about that. That not only everything that you're about to cover, everyone listen up, by the way. The things she has accomplished in the last few years is insane. Okay. It's insane and it's amazing. And she got married in the middle of it.
Yeah. It's actually from like 1 year on, right? Because marriage was
Yes.
July 1st. And then if I just kept ticking down the clock of all the things I've done in this 1 year, I think I've peaked in life. I'm fine. I'm good.
You've made it. You've made it.
It's been a great year.
Well, Miss Jennifer, share how you are doing and what you are offering right now, what your business is about, just so everyone can know who you are and all the scoop.
Yeah. So I am currently a relationship coach, and my favorite people to work with are women, specifically women in and out of relationships that just keep struggling with the way they're communicating to their partners. I often say, like, do you try to communicate your feelings to your boyfriend or your husband or your partner, and it just keeps blowing up in your face? It's like everything you say is wrong. Those are my favorite people to work with because I've been there. I know what that feels like. And I have worked really hard to figure out my own communication skills to learn how to be heard and validated better.
I love this. I think so many people today would say that they struggle with communication. I mean, do you find that most people in one form or another, relationships or not, just I think we all have that, but it's so neat that you found this niche. What brought you to wanting to help people in their relationships?
I've always been that friend that listens and gives good advice and all of that stuff. I've always been someone that's been really into this self-development, personal growth world. And back during the pandemic, after a heartbreak, and I could get into another time, but I found this group of people that were all learning about attachment styles. And I had no idea what an attachment style was. And so I blamed my ex for everything, as one does. And instead, I started seeing like, oh, I'm the problem. And so as I started diving deeper and through learning about attachment styles, my brain and like my understanding just clicked with it. And so people started coming to me with before I was even like certified as a coach. It was just like people in the community would be like, oh, Jen knows about this stuff. So let's try that. And they would come and ask me questions. I'd be like, oh, it's like this. And I had all these like analogies in my head. And a couple people were like, you're really good at this. Like, are you a therapist? And I was like, no, I've never even gone to college. I'm nothing. Like, that's how I would feel. I'm nothing.
Oh,
And yeah, it's a rough one when you just feel like you have no value to an extent.
wow.
And then that program, which was the personal development school, she started a certificate program for coaching. And I'd been single now for quite a while, and this seemed like something I really want to do. I believe I had just gone back to school to be a therapist because people kept telling me how great I was at this. And I was like, well, let me just get this certificate. Maybe I don't even need to go to school. I can just be a coach. This will be great. No, that doesn't work that way, but it's fine. Like, that's what I thought at the time. And I signed up for this course. It was about, it was the most money I'd ever invested in myself. It was over $2,000. And
Oh my gosh.
as a kind of quote unquote kept housewife for a really long time. I never had a job. I never had a career. I was a stay-at-home mom. That's all I did. I never touched our finances. I couldn't even get access to our bank accounts. It was that bad.
Wow.
Like, that's what it was like in my previous marriage. So to just save up this money and spend it on myself was like amazing. So I took the course. It was fantastic. It helped me learn so much. And then I quickly learned that wasn't enough to be a coach. And so I needed to do more. So I kept doing more and I kept doing more.
Interesting. So take us back. I mean, first of all, here you are today with your relationship coaching business, podcast, Speak Honest podcast, and your business, and you're helping people. And I think it's amazing and awesome and so needed. And that's why I've been so excited about your business. But what I think is so fascinating is your whole story. And you just touched on it, that you were in a marriage and you got a divorce, and then you were blaming your ex for the issues and didn't realize maybe you had an attachment style and there was all these other things to it. And that's what you help people with today. But take us back to that time. So where were you? How did this all culminate? What happened? We want to know the scoop. Y'all get ready. Listen, I don't know what you were doing.
Yeah, get your popcorn. Pause the podcast. Go get your popcorn and your coffee or whatever it is you need. Maybe your wine at this point in time.
I'm like, this story, and it's so it's power packed. It's power packed because it's just from a few years ago. That's what I can't get past.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I'm going to let you take the reins on this and share your whole journey, because I think this is so relatable to everybody that nobody is too late to start anything. No one is in a position where you are nothing. Like she touched on that she felt like she was nothing. If you ever feel this way, re-listen to this episode, because Jennifer will inspire you and make you see that anything can happen. You can reset your life. You can reboot your life, whatever you want to call it. This can happen for you. So Jennifer, take it away. Hi, friends. I just had to jump in here really quick because so many of you have asked me what my credit card recommendations are. And I wanted to share it with you in a great promo that may help you out if you're starting your business or in the growth stage, and especially if you are strapped for cash right now or investing in things in your business. I have used Capital One for the past probably 20 years, I'm guessing, for my businesses and for my home. They have such great rewards and all that stuff. But I have to tell you about this promo that they have going on right now. And that is 15 months interest free. Are you hearing me? If you're trying to invest in things in your business right now, whether you're your website or maybe you're trying to hire someone to help you, whatever it is, y'all, 15 months interest free. Scroll down and click the link below. You also get a $200 bonus when you spend $500 in the first 90 days. Y'all, that's amazing. And they also have a no fee credit card. So you don't have to worry about like some type of annual fee. Also, they have like 3% cash back on certain things that you spend on in the month. So it's a total no brainer to have 15 months interest free. Just think about that relief of stress that you could experience right now and things that you're trying to spend on, and to know that all you have to do is make a minimum payment each month. You don't have to, like, it's barely a minimum payment. Y'all, you don't have to pay it off for 15 months. It's amazing. Anyway, scroll down in the show notes and get your hands on it, because I'm telling you, you will be so happy and have so much relief. Back to the episode.
Okay, so this started in 2019, actually. I had already had a small business where I was making clothes for children. It was a really fun job that I had for about 6 or 7 years. It was very stressful, though, and I didn't really run it properly.
Were you sewing the clothes or you were reselling?
No, sewing. I sew clothes. I put vinyl on them. I had a sublimation machine. I was like, I was just like cranking it out. You should see the amount of fabric in my garage. It's actually ridiculous. Like, the fabric world is addictive, and I have so much left. I probably have thousands of dollars of fabric in my garage still.
I love this.
And so 2019 came around, and I'll be really honest with this. There was just like, I started meeting these friends and I started kind of branching out. I had just lost a ton of weight. I had had gastric sleeve surgery in 2016.
Wow.
And so I went from like 300 pounds to like 140
pounds. What? This is a whole nother thing I didn't know about you. This keeps getting better and better. Like, I'm fascinated by you. I really am. Okay. This is amazing.
Yeah. So I think in that kind of realm, like, that started happening. Things got really bad between my ex-husband and I, just in terms of like, it just wasn't really working out anymore. 2019 rolls around. I kind of just, and he's been checked out for like years now. 2019 rolls around. This cute boy walks into my tent at a thing, and it's like my body felt different and then my world shifted around. So I talked to my ex-husband and I was like, what are we doing? Like, why are we still in this relationship together? And he was like, yeah, I don't know. And it's like, we're friends, we're friendly, it's fine. But like, we didn't want to hate each other. So we were like, let's just do this thing. So let's separate. So we separated, and we're divorcing, although that's like a whole nother thing. But I met this other boy. This other boy was like, just everything to me. I was in such limerence with him, which just basically means like an obsession.
Okay.
Because I just went from this loveless marriage to this boy that just covered me with attention. We, within a month, told each other we loved each other. This is the whole thing. Is like, it's wild when I think about who I was back then. I was like, what was I doing? I was like a 19-year-old or something. And probably because I never really had a childhood, right? So this was my newfound like life at the age of 37. But he broke up with me on that weekend before the pandemic. Like, do you remember the shutdown? Like in 2020?
Was it March? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
March 16th. He broke up with me on March 14th. And so to say that I went into like a deep depression would be an understatement, because I had now lost my marriage, lost this man that I thought I loved, like with all of my heart and soul. And I was a single mom, and I have no career, no job opportunities. I have chronic pain. I have fibromyalgia. I'm dealing with this chronic back pain. Migraines are coming up. And it's just like, if it wasn't for having to take care of my son, I'm genuinely speaking, I don't know if I'd be here, because it was just all too much. It was just, life came just down on top of me. And it did on everyone. It was the pandemic, which also meant, like, this is going to sound funny, but it meant I didn't get the kind of attention and love and care sometimes women and people can get after a breakup, where their friends rally around them and they take them out for dinner, and they come over and they watch movies with you and eat ice cream. No, I was isolated. So I was isolated, and I had no partner, and I didn't know what was going on. I drank a lot. That was a coping drink, and I did a lot of weed, and that was the only way to function during that time frame. But it was, let's see, I started going back on dating apps just because I needed the validation from men at that time. I like to keep it really real. And that's when I met this guy who will eventually become my husband. And we were just chit-chatting on like video chats and stuff like that. And he's not typically my type. And at this point in time, I was like, feelings started coming up again and I needed to fix this. I was like, what is going on with me? Why am I so messed up? I started seeing a therapist through BetterHelp. And then I joined this program in the personal development school that taught us about attachment styles. And so when I started learning that I was a disorganized attachment style is when my whole world just like opened. It was like the veil was lifted. Every problem I'd ever had in my life made sense.
Can you explain what an attachment style is? Because I don't totally know.
Yeah. So attachment styles come from the work of John Bowlby and Mary Ainsworth back in like the late 1900s. And what they did was they did a bunch of studies on babies, on infants, and how they reacted to their parents. So basically it means the way in which your parents cared for you as a child is what will be your attachment as you get older into romantic relationships. And so there's 4 main attachment styles. You have secure, which is the, beautiful one that everyone wants. In fact, I often explain these as dances. So I like to call the secure the smooth waltz. You're perfectly aligned. Everyone trusts each other. You're gliding around on the dance floor and it looks absolutely beautiful. This is a good, healthy relationship. This happens if you had caregivers growing up that gave you love and affection and help and validation when you needed it. That's like the gold standard of what we want to be. That's what I was like, yes, I'm secure. No, I was not at all.
Yeah.
And and then you have anxious and you have avoidance. These are on both ends. So anxious is kind of like the people who are clingy and needy and they're constantly checking their phones. Like, is he texting me back? What's going on? I notice a lot of women are anxiously attached. We don't quite know why that is, but I think there might be just like societal standards that go on women, thus kind of creating this aspect. And then we have avoidance on the other side, which tends to be more like they want to be alone. They can only take so much vulnerability and an intimacy and they'll push you away often. And so then you have disorganized, which is kind of like the mix between anxious and avoidant, but it usually comes from having some sort of trauma in your early childhood experience. And it means you really want love so bad. It's like, I need you, I need you, I need you. And then as soon as you get that love, you're like, I don't want you anymore. Go away. And so it's the disorganized is that push-pull relationship that happens, or the pendulum swing dance, as I like to call it. Like if you have a swing dance going on, but like constantly, you're like swirling, but then you're pushing them away and you're coming back.
Yes.
And so that's really what attachment styles are. And you can get an idea of why, if you're stuck in a similar relationship pattern over and over again, if you're like, just keep dating the same man and you're like, what the heck? Why does this keep happening? It's just from programming from when you were a child.
What?
And there are ways to fix it. And that's kind of what I get into with people.
That's so fascinating.
Yeah. But there are ways to fix that. So I fix it in myself.
Okay. What are you? What's your attachment style?
I am the poster child of disorganized attachment.
Okay.
I am like everything that is one of the funniest things with disorganized attachment is they think they're really good at boundaries. So if you're ever taking a test and it's like, oh, are you good at boundaries? Usually a disorganized attachment is like, yeah, I'm great at boundaries. I say no all the time. But what happens is they set reactive boundaries, not proactive boundaries, meaning they'll let things go and go and go until they can't anymore. And then they just blow up and shut the person out. And so if you've ever been on the receiving end of that, or if that's ever been you, for anyone that's listening, that's a high chance you have a disorganized attachment. If you're like, I'm great at boundaries, but putting up boundaries, you're putting up walls. It's very different.
Fascinating.
So proactive one would just be tiny little boundaries that you set throughout the day. And that's kind of what I work with as well, because it's so important to learn what your boundaries are, what your non-negotiables are, what your needs are, and what your emotions are. I'd say those are the 4 core things, especially in my coaching, that I love to focus on.
Yeah, this is so enlightening. Well, that's amazing. Okay, so you discovered that you're this type of attachment style.
Yes.
And that's when you're dating who is now your husband. You're dating him. And this is still like 2020?
No, this is, we met on June 21st, 2020.
Okay.
And so it was like super early on, but I'd already been like talking to other guys as well. Like I said, I was really just like a depressed woman who needed validation, and dating apps are a great idea for that, because like for as many women are on there, there's like 20 men that are like, you're so beautiful. And I was like, oh, thank you.
You're like, I love this app.
And then I know this is great. I know sometimes I talk to my husband now. I'm like, I need more validation. I need the app back. He's like, oh my God, shut up. And I tell him that too. I never intended to go into this with wanting a relationship, because I had already bounced from, I'm like a chronic monogamist, right? I have bounced from like relationship to relationship, and I've never been alone. And so when I found him, I did the same thing. I pulled him closer and then I pushed him away. I broke up with him so many times. I don't even know why he's still here. It's great though.
He loves you. That's why.
Yeah. And then because each time it got better, I was like, okay, so even as I'm healing through disorganized attachment, I'm still noticing that there's still this level inside of me. So eventually in May of 2021, I am helping out a friend, and her sister-in-law was passing away. And so I was watching her house, and she had this book on her bedside table called Radical Acceptance by Tara Brach. So I start reading this book, and it's life-changing to me. It's like everything that I couldn't learn and figure out in other places. It's just about having pure acceptance about the crap that's happening in your life. And so I was like, oh, this is great. But I was still drinking a lot at the time. But that is when one night, it was like 3 a.m. I had drinking. I was like having some weed. I was totally out of my mind. And I was like, I need to go back to school. That's what I have to do. Like, cause I was like, what am I going to do? I'm single. I'm alone. I'm trying to take care of my kid. I have no income. So I signed up for this community college, woke up the next morning. I completely forgot that I had done this.
No.
Completely. I was just like... So it was so bad. It was so bad. I was like, what is this email? What am I in? What is happening? And apparently I signed up for Mission College, which goes on to change my entire life's trajectory. Like Mission College changed my life completely. And it's the best thing that ever happened to me.
Aw.
So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at there. And then that's why in September of 2021, when then I heard about a coaching program that was going to go on, I signed up immediately. It started in February of 2023. And I think I was certified for that by September of 2023. And then I started just going like full force into 2022. Sorry. And whatever. Day to day. But it's to give you an idea of like how all of this happened in like kind of this short time frame, because it's 2021, I signed up for school. And then 2022, I signed up for the IAT program, Integrated Attachment Theory program. And then I graduate from that in September of 2022. And I immediately start wanting to become an ICF certified coach, which is the International Coaches Federation. It's the only globally recognized place for coaches to have like regulations, stipulations, all of these things. So if you ever work with anyone in the ICF, you actually have like a greater body that you can go to say, this person did something wrong, did something bad, like therapists have. So that felt important to me.
Yes.
So I did that within 2023, all the while getting married.
Getting
So like,
oh my.
Yes.
Going back to school, getting your certification.
Yeah. So I'm in school, I'm getting a certification, I'm going through all these courses, I'm planning a wedding, and I'm doing all this stuff. And this coming from a woman that legit could just sit at home and watch Netflix 24/7. Like I was just a blob before this. And I just never thought I could amount to more.
That breaks my heart when you say that. Because you're so amazing, Jennifer.
It breaks my heart too.
You're so amazing and driven and awesome. Okay, I just had to say that. I'm like, it makes me sad.
Thank you. And you know what? 3 years ago, I would have pushed that compliment away and not been able to even accept it, or just been like, you're just being nice and not trust you. But now I'm like, I'm going to really receive that, because this is where I'm at now in my life, is like, yeah, I think I can do this. I think there's so many of us out there as well that can do this. I'm just one small person that can hopefully help, say, 100 people over the course of my lifetime. And I'd be very happy with that. But like, there's so many of us out there wanting to do this. And that's why I think it's so important to just start following your dream, regardless of whether or not you think you can do it. So my dream has changed where I thought I was going to be, but it's still working towards like a better me. And that's what I love the most about it.
That's awesome. Working toward a better you. I hope everyone heard that. That's wonderful. So you're getting this, you're getting married. What else? I know there's more to this.
Okay. So I'm still doing all these classes, and I am signed up for the ICF life coaching and neuro-linguistic programming courses, and planning the wedding. The wedding is done. That's great. Now I'm going to finish up school. Had a great little honeymoon where we drove around California, did all the theme parks, which was like super fun.
Awesome.
Yeah. I was like, I want to have so much fun. Oh, and the wedding. And I just say this, like having this wedding, this was my second wedding, right? And I had a first really big wedding. So I actually struggled a lot with the self-consciousness of like, can I celebrate a second wedding? For my husband, it was his first. So I kind of like leaned on that. I was like, well, this is his first wedding. I'm doing this for him.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things I learned about in my healing and my practice is also just, I was allowed to be celebrated. So I picked out my bridesmaids and I told them exactly what I wanted. And I learned how to communicate what I needed and what I wanted. And I learned how it was okay to be rejected and how it was okay to make compromise. And the next thing I know, I'm just having the best bachelorette party I've ever had in my life. I'm having the most amazing wedding and after parties and most amazing honeymoon, because I spoke up for what I needed and what I wanted. And I had boundaries. And they were uncomfortable sometimes. I had to set boundaries with my mom and her boyfriend when they were over here. And like, yeah, it got weird, but that's what you have to do. And it meant it was a beautiful time. So then the fall of 23, I'm just finishing up school pretty much. I finished up all of the courses and I'm trying to get in my 100 hours of coaching that you have to get for ICF as well.
I remember you saying, you're like, I got to finish all that.
Yeah, you need like 60 hours of training, 100 hours of coaching, 10 hours of being mentored, and then like a 4-hour exam at the end of all of that.
Wow.
So I'd finish all of that by March of 2024.
Wow.
But while all this is happening, so I'm at Mission College. I'm in the psychology world there, except I start taking communication classes. And I start falling in love with these classes and the teachers and the organization. And I start going to Toastmasters because I was getting extra credit and I needed the extra credit because I was going to fail the class, I swear. And all of this stuff was going down. And I heard of this. Oh, I'm in Toastmasters and I'm talking to the teacher. And he said, oh, yeah, we're having a TEDx event at Mission College. And I was like, my whole body just like exploded. A TEDx talk is the end all be all of it's like a bucket list item that, it's like you're never going to get there. You want to do it, but you don't think you're ever going to get there.
Right. You would think I'll be ready in 10 years, 20 years, but not now.
Yeah. When I'm 60, they'll let me do one. That's fine. But because of that just meant I kind of doubled down into communication studies just so I could stay on his good side. And I really wanted this, but he's been such a huge support for me, such a huge mentor. And it was amazing what he did for us students. So in February of this year, I gave my TEDx talk.
I mean, that is awesome.
It was like public speaking boot camp. I had to rewrite my speech like 20 times. I had to like memorize it and use a teleprompter. I had to have my slides. I had to do all the things. And it was the most amazing experience of my life.
I can't even imagine. Like, how many people did the TEDx talk? I love TEDx. I love TED Talks. I love all of it, but I don't know how it works at the logistical level at the college. What goes on? I'm just curious.
I learned a lot too. So TEDx is very specific. You have to have very strict rules and you have to have very strict things. And you can only have 100 people watch you on your inaugural TEDx event. And after that, you can start bringing in more people. They're very strict.
Oh.
That you have to do this. You have to do this. It has to be, you have to make sure all your sources are cited. You have to send them in. My video is still not even out yet.
Wow.
I did this talk back in February. My video is still not even on their website.
Because what are they doing? Vetting it?
Yeah, like editing and then like putting it together.
Okay.
So that's like the editing team as well has to do that. And then they have to send it into TEDx. And then within my group, there was 9 of us. 2 of them got their speeches rejected. And they had to like re-show their sources. So like TED is like, they don't play.
That's cool to know though. That's a fun fact about it. Like that it's legit. I thought it was just more of an open forum, honestly. I thought you could just get up.
A lot of people thought that. No, and it was like, it took 6 months from the start of when we got approved to having a coach and having our speeches refined over and over and over again. You should see, I mean, I have hundreds of videos of me just practicing my speech and it's different every time.
Wow.
Because of the process of how this works.
Right.
Yeah, it was intense. It was the greatest thing that like I could have done because after that, I started getting noticed around campus, around Toastmasters groups, like, oh, this is Jen. She did a TEDx talk. She was really great at it. And I was like, oh my gosh, wait, can I talk? Is that like a thing I could do?
Like, I didn't know this.
Apparently, which like, hello, I'm trying to start a podcast during all. Oh, I forgot I started the podcast during all of this, by the way.
Yes, you did. I remember you working very hard on it. Yeah, because that's when we met before. Let's see, you were about to get married. So that was 23. So that's what we said last summer.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
And just to throw another quick wrench into this, I was going to tell you what I've done within the last, like this first half of the year. So also I got married July 1st, 2023. But actually, like spoiler alert, I didn't get married because my ex-husband didn't get the paperwork finished properly. So I wasn't even divorced yet. No.
What?
Yeah.
Did you not know that till the last minute or you didn't care? You're just like, we're getting married.
We just decided to keep doing it. We talked to the pastor and he was like, let's just do it. And you can just, well, as soon as you're divorced, we'll just get you like married legally. But for right now, you have everything planned. We just assumed we started the process like 2 years before. And so we just assumed, but no, the divorce took so long, longer than I ever expected. Yeah. So it did not come through until January of 2024.
So you got married again, January.
Yes. So we were waiting. It was like I was waiting for this divorce to start my LLC. So January 29th came around and the divorce finally came through. And so I literally turned right back around and was like, I filled out my LLC.
Oh,
I did it.
You wanted your name.
Didn't want him to have any part of my business. So they kept telling me, wait till the divorce goes through. But that put me at this like limbo where I couldn't do anything. And I was actually really frustrated because I was like, I'm beholden to all of these men around me. It just felt so disempowering, and it's like, this is exactly what I want to get away from. This is why I want to encourage women to have a voice, to be able to speak up and to be able to like stand up for themselves and communicate what they need, because I didn't do that enough, even with my ex-husband. He still triggers me sometimes. It happens.
Right. It does happen.
I didn't know how to stand up and be like, I need this now. I should have just hired a lawyer. I absolutely should have just hired a lawyer, but he kept telling me we don't need one. But see how I let him dictate things yet again. So that I learned that lesson. And so on February 14th, because it's very sweet, my husband and I went down to the courthouse and got married.
Well, good. I'm so happy. Yes, that chapter
Thank you.
behind you and now anew. And so I think that's amazing.
Yes. So that was divorce, LLC, marriage, TEDx talk. And then I started going into the Toastmasters speech competition because I had gotten kind of recognition. They were like, you should really join the competition. And I was like, I don't want to speak anymore. But I did, thinking that's fine. I'll just go the first round. No, but I won.
You won.
And then I think that's fine. I did. I won and I just got to go for it. It's fine. I'll go to the second round. I'll lose. It's not a big deal. I won again.
Stop.
And I was like, yeah, people are just like, oh my gosh, your passion when you talk and you're so well articulate. And it's just so weird for me, Kimberly, because like, I don't feel that way sometimes even still. I just feel like I'm this little girl that got told consistently in class, to shut up and you're not smart enough and, just sit down and just go be a pretty face or just go get a husband. You don't need to have a job. Like all of these things in my world that I grew up in, very kind of Midwestern Catholic Christian lifestyle, women do a certain thing. I'm still very Christian. It's just I'm also more empowered now in that Christianity because I know Jesus would want me to succeed and do beautiful things.
I love that.
Thank you. And it's just like, it's just kind of finding my own faith, figuring all this stuff out. And then,
gosh, yes.
Then I went to the district's competition for the Toastmasters, which was a really honoring thing. And then I got second place, which I was actually really okay with because I didn't know if I wanted to go all the way. So
you're like, okay,
I'm done. And this other woman has been like practicing her speeches for like the last 6 years and she's never gotten this far in the competition. And so I kind of felt like she deserved it. Like, just go, girl. Like, she was so sweet. She was like a little mom to me. Yeah, it was her time. I have plenty of time. But it was an honoring thing to get to be told that. So then in the middle of all of this, I get a notification from Mission College that I have been nominated as valedictorian.
Oh my. Yay.
And again, I was like, I'm done with speeches. What is happening here?
God works in mysterious ways. I'm sitting here listening to you and watching you, and I'm thinking, this is so many people that they feel like an imposter.
Yes.
Like who I was and who I am can no way be what is happening right now. Like, what am I the chosen person? What is happening? And so I'm just watching you, you're glowing, but you're also in disbelief. But what I love is that you're moving forward with it. Like everything you're saying, even though you've got the voice in your head, you've got the ex-husband issues, whatever. I don't know what the issues are, but there was something. So you got a divorce, everything that you've been through. I'm sitting here going, she's still forging forward. Everyone, are you listening to this? Like she's still going, even when you feel like an imposter and you have the voice in your head and you have limitations and you've never done this or you've never done that. Like she's doing that. Okay. I just had to point that out because it's just fascinating.
Thank you.
I love it.
No, I love that. And I want to point out too, during all of this time, I'm still really struggling with my mental health and my physical health. I had in the fall of 2023, I had a massive vertigo attack that landed me like in the hospital, and I was throwing up at the yoga studio and I missed out on a bunch of fun events. And so that vertigo really affected me. My pain started flaring up again. And then just recently, just a month ago, I was in the ER for a migraine that I thought was like a brain aneurysm.
Oh, scary.
So I say this to say, I thought I could never become anything because with my fibromyalgia and my degenerative disc disease and my ADHD, and all of these other things going on, my panic disorder that apparently I have, I just thought I need to keep my head down and I just need to get through life until it's over and I'll be fine. And I know that sounds really dark, but it's what I thought was meant for me. And then things just kind of started falling into my lap and I was like, I don't know if I can do this. And then I had a really good friend of mine that was like, just try it. And if whatever, your back goes out and you can't do the TEDx talk, then fine. You weren't going to do it in the first place. Like,
yeah, I love it.
So that's what been my mantra lately is just, I'm going to say yes to everything. And then if in the last minute I have to say no, that's okay. That's who I am now. And I just explain that to people. I just say,
that's empowering.
yeah, it's one of the biggest things I think I've learned through all of these like health issues is I don't need to be stuck with them. They're just a part of me. They don't control me. And so I just get to learn. And then when my body acts up, I have to ask it. I'm like, okay, body, what are you trying to tell me? Like, do you need me to slow down? Is that it? Like, do you need me to chill out a little bit?
You just graduated not that long ago. Am I right?
Yeah, it's only a couple weeks ago.
Weeks.
In fact, I had maybe actually a month ago now. It depends. Yeah. I had the Toastmasters International Speech Contest on May 19th.
Okay.
And then I had my valedictorian speech on May 21st.
Okay.
So it was just like a lot. And also just like as a side effect of continuously just doing all of this, I was just asked yesterday, I haven't even told you this yet, to become the new area director for our Toastmasters clubs.
What?
That's like unheard of, like for me. Like
your resume is just like filling up, like it's filled.
I had no resume until in fact, my resume is all like 2022, 2023, 2024. They're like, what did you do before that? Nothing. I mean, that's not true. I was a stay-at-home mom, and we all know that that is a job in and of itself.
Right.
I always want to respect that. But outside of that, I had nothing. I was a waitress. I worked at retail. I was a nanny. I just never had a career. I mean, I did have my business, but see, you can even hear I don't talk. I dismiss that business sometimes, which I shouldn't actually, but that's a whole different conversation.
I know, but it's like, it's crazy. So now you have this call, and I know this started years ago. What was it that you felt was like really your calling? I know you said it was to communicate better, but like even deeper than that, what would you say like your calling is?
I have this really unique way of hearing what people are saying and finding the subtext underneath it. I've been doing this for decades now. That's why I've always had a passion. I've been a mediator in other small groups. I've like ran things for my MOPS programs, different things like this, because I'm really good at conflict. I don't mind conflict. I'm a weirdo who does not mind conflict or public speaking. So those two things suit well with me. And then learning that as soon as someone says something, I could be like, well, I heard you say this one word. And then next thing you know, that's like they're crying and they're expressing all of their feelings and emotions because I just reflected back to them what they said.
Yeah, it wasn't like you said anything. Yeah, you said what they said.
But what it is I'm listening to them. I'm a really good listener. And now I'm like learning how to just kind of hype myself up with that, right? I'm like, okay, let's have the confidence, ladies. Like, let's do this. Let's lift each other up. Let's have the confidence in ourselves. And yeah, I'm a good listener a lot of times, and I'll hear people. And I think that's what a lot of people come to me for. And even before I was a coach, it was just like, oh, you should go talk to Jen. Like, she's a really good listener. And then I just listen and I validate them continuously, but then I also challenge them, and then I'll be silly and I'm playful. And all of this together just made me realize, like, this is what I want to be doing. I want to be someone who is helping someone one-on-one, as well as maybe talking in bigger groups, but then being able to talk one-on-one with people later. Because I think as much as we can explain things, right? As much as I could say, here is the top 5 ways that you can hear your partner better, right? Fine, I can do that. But someone's sitting out there being like, well, that won't work for me, and here's why.
Yeah.
And I want to hear that why. Why don't you think it'll work for you? And let me help you understand why it will.
Wow, that's powerful.
And I can't get there. Yeah.
That's powerful.
And I can't get there unless they talk to me one-on-one. And that's why I love the coaching aspect. That's why I don't think I'll ever give up pure one-to-one coaching completely, because it's, to me, my strong suit. It's my calling. And that's why I want to become eventually a therapist and a psychologist, because I can do more with those titles.
Yes. So your vision is to keep moving forward with school too.
Yeah.
So we've got more years coming up now that she's going to have even more added to her resume and her credentials.
And speaking of one-on-one help and why I like interpersonal connection so much, that's why when I decided how I wanted to do my podcast,
yes,
one of the biggest things that I wanted to do was coach someone one-on-one on the podcast. So people could actually not only get a taste of how I coach, because I think it's really important that you work with someone who resonates and vibes with you, not just someone that you think has good reviews or anything like that. I always recommend people should be seeing 3 to 5 coaches before they make a choice. It's just like dating. It's just like that. You need to see the people who vibe well with you. So
yeah, that's so true.
The podcast gives me an opportunity to do that. And so I always knew I wanted to do a podcast. It's something I've wanted to do for most of my life. And then in the IIT program, I have a good friend named Sarah Swan, who Kimberly.
Yes.
And so she was like, there's this businesswoman, and Jen, I think you would love her. And she's so great. She's got such a good podcast, and you just have to listen to her, and she's helping me out. And Sarah and I have always been like, look, coaching is great. Coaching is lovely. Running a business, really hard.
Yeah,
really,
it is.
really hard. Like
Yeah.
if someone could just hire me to be a coach, that would
I
be
know,
great.
right? Right.
But that's not how it works.
Yeah, no, it's not how it works.
So I figured if I want to do this and I want to keep coaching, then I need to figure out how to run this business side. I need to figure out how to get this podcast up and running, and I need to do all of this. And then that's when I ran into you, Kimberly, and you were doing a boot camp for podcasting. And
Yes.
it was like in May, and I'm still chat with all of those women in that group. Like the communities that you develop are so powerful because I still chat with them. I still chat with Brittany and Amanda and all of them. And it's just like, oh my gosh, I found friends out of this. And this has been over a year now.
Oh, so sweet.
You gave me the confidence that I finally needed. Like I had read courses, I had read articles, I've talked with other people, but no one could get me started. And everyone kept talking about like 5 steps ahead of where I was.
Right.
And I was like, no, I need to go like, what kind of arm do I need for my microphone? That's like where I was.
What's the boom arm that I need? Like I need the steps.
And what is a boom arm?
Yeah.
I have no idea. And even through this, I'm still learning. I'm still processing. But like that was what you offered. And so then as well, I did that. I went through your podcasting course and I loved it so much that when you were opening up spaces again for Grow Getters, I was like, I need to jump in on this just because I need to just have more of Kimberly's vibe in my business and like just have it be in this community. So half the time, I mean, I barely even ask you questions. Half the time I'm just asking all the other women in the group, like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, I know. It's so
It's
fun.
like you've built this self-sustaining like community, which I think is beautiful.
Oh, that's so nice.
And it's been such a wonderful way to kind of learn how to run a business with all of these other like-minded women, but they're all doing their own thing. We're not all just coaches.
Right.
Because there's a weird thing happening right now in the coaching world as well, which is almost feeling like an MLM, which is like coaches coaching coaches to learn how to coach coaches.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's like a little bit. And it's like, I don't want to do that. I just want to help women with the relationships. And I go into these other groups and they're like, oh yeah. And then you can make more money if you coach coaches. And I was like, but if this never stops, then are we actually helping anyone?
Yeah. Where's this ending? Yeah.
So that's when I came into you. It was never that. It's like you have women that have like brick and mortar shops. You are about business.
Yes.
Not just coaching. And that's what I think if like really a huge thing for coaches to realize is it's not just about coaching. It's about the business aspect of things. How do you market? Like, how do you do all this stuff? I even like, you have like a cute little yearly book that you had us all go through and I got it printed out through Canva so I could like write it on paper. And like those kind of things help me so much.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Staying invested and staying on course with where I need to go. And you also taught me how important it can be to just invest in yourself and to like outsource the things that you hate doing. Hence, I get someone to edit my podcast now. And I actually just hired an accountant who is going to take care of all of my money.
Good.
So I'm very excited for that.
I've always admired that about you too, Jennifer, I have to say, because
thank you.
You are a good example for everyone else in Grow Getters that yes, you have to invest in your stuff. I know, some people in our group, and they may have had some courses or had a coach like me, but you do have to spend money on certain things. So you need to be wise about it, but you have to spend money. I think so many are so scared, probably like what you were saying earlier about the voice in your head and who you think you've been and who you are and doubting what you're capable of. You're scared to invest in you. But when you know it's your calling and this is what you want to do, you have to take it seriously. You have to invest in the things that are going to help you and stop yourself from doing all the things that you don't like doing and outsource them. So I love that you shared that. Thank you for your compliments.
You're very welcome.
We don't know what we'd be without you because you bring such a joy and a light into our group and you're just so
See, this is what I'm talking about. You're so nice to the people in your group. It's so sweet. But one of the things that like I dislike in other groups I've been in and other programs and things is people will say this, like, you need to invest in yourself because like it's important. So now give me your money.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, and one of my favorite things that I've heard you say on your podcast that really resonates with me as well is like, it doesn't have to be with me. You're like, you should be investing in yourself. You should be going and finding a business coach, but you're always so honest about that. And you're like, but I'm not saying like now drop thousands of dollars on me. I'm saying go out and figure out what's best for you.
Right.
That level of authenticity is like why I will just keep following you wherever you go because you don't sell gross. Like you just are.
Yeah. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it at all.
And then you teach us how to sell in non-icky ways. And that's been helping me because I have another business course that I'm going through and some of her practices are quite icky to me.
Yeah.
And I don't like it. And so learning how to be authentic on my own, but still I want to make money. And that's hard. It's hard
It
to
is
make money
hard,
out
right?
here. Yeah. I just like
It
to be honest
is.
about that too. It's just,
Yeah.
it's rough. Yeah.
It's a constant grind of like, I know we don't want to say that, but it is of like, how do I keep growing? How do I keep new people coming in? It's this whole cycle. We have to keep the flow coming in, because if we don't, then we have no new clients. And all we're doing is marketing to the same old people. So you have to keep doing that. But that is the plight of every business owner, is how do we keep this train still rolling and coming in and bringing new people? And I have no doubt in my mind you are going to be massively successful. You already are. You've already proven that once we get past this junk that's in our head that stops us, that anything is possible, and we will shock ourselves. We will shock ourselves. You've shocked yourself. I can tell by the look on your face that you just can't even believe that's happened. But at the same time, it was after you decided, I'm not going to live that other way. I'm going to start anew, and I am going to clean this out and move forward.
One of my favorite quotes is, I'll probably butcher it, but it's chance favors the prepared. So did I go into this thinking I was going to do a TEDx talk? No. Did I start Mission College thinking I would be valedictorian? I mean, heck no for that one, because I like failed out of high school. So I still don't actually, I'm more likely to think I did a TEDx talk than to think I got valedictorian, which really, I think it should be the other way around. But
Right.
like, no, but getting valedictorian, never thought. But it's because I just kept pushing forward, and I'm trying, and I'm taking, you know how slow I'm going, Kimberly.
But you're methodical.
I am taking this so slow. I know, but like, I want to teach, like, I want to help people understand that too. It's like, it doesn't have to be overnight. Like, you don't have to go and sit down. Like, it took me a year to get my podcast up and running. It's taken me, I still haven't gotten my course out. I was hoping to get it done in the beginning of June. I haven't. Life happens, things happen. But I'm going to keep going forward.
Life happens. It all happens, but you're still going. And I don't think you're slow. I think you've been methodical, and I think you've been intentional. And I think you've had so many extra awesome things happening in the midst of it that maybe it's not on the timeline that you first thought, but it's still where it's supposed to be. You're exactly, because now when you're showing up, like right now, you're talking about all these things. You have so much confidence. You are empowered. You're not afraid to take compliments. Like you said, you're not afraid to recognize the strengths that you have and share it confidently without being arrogant and without being a weirdo. Like you're stating fact. And I think that's what's going to be super attractive for all of your clients. And I hope everyone here knows that Jennifer is available as a relationship coach. And if you want to share real quick, Jennifer, about your program and what's going on, just so people can access you, because I'm sure they're going to be in love with you after they hear all of this and want to know how to be in your circle as well.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah. So at the moment, I'm doing one-on-one coaching. You can actually go to my website, speak-honest.com, and I'll get Kimberly all of the links. And you can get a taste of what it's like to be coached by me if you would like to. In fact, I was going to offer anyone who's listening right now, or like whenever, it doesn't matter, I'm going to have a coupon code so you can come in and just get like a free 30-minute coaching call with me. Just because I think it just helps. Like, you need to be able to talk to people first and foremost before you invest in them. And honestly, when you guys come to me as clients, you are investing in me and my life. I appreciate you so much. You're keeping food on my table. You're keeping my electricity on, and it means the world to me, but you shouldn't be expected to drop that kind of money in the beginning. So like, come and chat with me, listen to the podcast. I love one-on-one coaching, but my next goal, and this one I'm really excited about, it's my slow but steady process. I am creating a course. It's going to be a 12-week course called Relationship Reboot. And the idea is, how can you start to learn how to communicate better in your relationships? Master communication with confidence, basically, is the tagline.
Oh, I love that. I love it. I cannot wait.
Yeah. And so I am a relationship coach, but I specialize in attachment styles and communication. That's kind of where I'm really passionate about. And so this 12-week course, my goal is to take 10 women through this course at a time. So every 3 months, I'm only going to bring in 10 women. So I will be vetting them. We'll make sure that this is something that is for you, because I would never want you to come and join something that you don't have the time or the energy for. That's not good. And those 10 women and myself will go through it for 12 weeks, where we are a community and we are built together in order to do this. I'm hoping to launch my beta program of that soon. Like I said, it should have been done like a couple weeks ago, but life, busy, anxiety, it is what it is. Life happens.
Give yourself grace. Right?
I know. I'm going to keep going forward. Like part of me was like, I shouldn't come on yet until I have my TEDx talk video up. And I should, no, Jen, imperfect progression, right? Right, Kimberly? That's what you're all about too. And you've been really teaching me that. It's like, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just is. Reach out to me on Instagram if you want as well. That's a great place that people can always message me. It's speak_honest at Instagram. And I do have a Facebook page as well. You can put Speak Honest into Facebook and it should show up. Again, I'll get Kimberly the link. But if you go in that Facebook group, that's where you get all of the information of because I have coffee chats a lot of times with people. I'll just like host webinars where people can come in and ask questions. And it's for right now, all completely free. I would love to get to a place in my business where I have to start like charging $10 for these things. But heck, I'm not there yet. So just come in and keep getting free coaching. That's what I just tell everyone. Like, this is a great spot to get in coaching with me right now until like, hopefully I can get busy.
Yes. Yeah. No, that's amazing. I mean, you're just kickstarting everything and just your degree, now working on your master's. You've got a TEDx talk, Toastmasters, valedictorian, podcast, business. I mean, seriously.
I know.
What
it's so
can't
much.
you do, my friend? What can't
I lived
you
more in this 1 year than I did in like 37. Oh, and I'm turning 40 this year. That's like in actually 8 days, I turned 40.
That's so awesome.
At the time of this recording. So we'll see. Like, I can't believe I did all of this. I was like, I'm going to do all this before 40. I didn't expect to do it all within like 6 months before I hit 40.
At the last second, like sliding in, just like, here we go.
Exactly. But yeah, I would love if any of your listeners out there right now, they are struggling with a relationship, they have a partner and it's like, they just are asking him, just do the dishes or could you please just put your coffee away? Or, he's not texting you back the way you want. Like, this would be a great time to just come schedule a coaching call with me. Again, the coupon code will be Brock, for Kimberly Brock, and I will get all of that stuff sent out to her. But feel free to reach out to me with any questions. I love nuanced questions.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
And then if the course is something that excites you, let me know like now-ish, because I've already have some people on the wait list and they can't wait for it to drop. So I'm excited.
Oh my gosh. I just know that you are going to change so many lives for the better. You already have with your joy and spirit and your TEDx talk and everything that's going on. You're such an inspiration. I hope everyone today just takes this away, that you can do anything you set your mind to and ignore the voice in your head. It's hard to do, but there's people like Jennifer who are here to help you and improve your relationships and get you past those things that may be holding you back in your business and life. So I am so glad you came today. Thank you so much, Jennifer. Again, everyone, all the links are below so you can get in contact with her. I hope you leave this podcast today inspired. So thank you so much for being here. And I'm so happy to know you and that you chose to be a part of my group and let me help you along your journey.
Thank you so much. It's such an honor. And thank you for having me on.
Yes. Okay. See you soon in the group.
Yay.
Now, this episode may be over, but our relationship does not have to end here. Head on over to KimberlyBrock.com. And yes, you can get more valuable information for your journey. And you know what? You don't need to go through this alone. I would love to help you. Thank you so much and have a great day. Bye.
Well, hello, friends. Real quick before we kick off the episode, I have to let you know about something exciting. I am seriously considering having an upgraded version of this podcast where you get bonus episodes and exclusive content. But here's the deal. I'm trying to decide what that content and those episodes should be. I do have some ideas, and I was wondering if you could vote really quick and tell me what you think about what would entice you, what would be interesting to you to get as bonus episodes on this podcast. For example, deeper dives into topics. Maybe I'm answering questions that many of you ask about starting or growing a business. Maybe even overhearing coaching calls, something like this. It would be a paid upgraded version of this podcast, not very expensive at all, probably just a handful of dollars a month, but it'd be extra content for you to help you along your journey. My whole goal is to help you build your business dream. And I would love to offer you even more because some of you are asking for it. So if you could just look down in the show notes right now, there's 2 ways you can give me your answers. Number 1, I have a Google form with 5 quick questions. It can be anonymous. You just answer them and vote on what would be interesting to you. Or number 2, I have a voice memo system. You can just click it and you could just leave a voice memo with your phone right now and just record it and tell me what kind of topics, what things would be interesting to you behind the scenes, market news, what would be things that would be extra that would be really valuable to you? So thank you all so much. Okay, on to the episode.